Welcome to the MCG on a glorious autumn Saturday afternoon. It's round 6, Carlton against Hawthorn. A big week for the Blues, having lost their former president and great financial benefactor Richard Pratt. And today they face the reigning premiers, the Hawks. A great test for the young Blues. Robert Walls, how do you see it playing out?
Well, Tim, it is a big test for Carlton because the Blues have started this year pretty well. Very impressive last week against the Western Bulldogs. It's a game which the Hawks really can't afford to lose because if they do, they go 2 wins, 4 losses, and pretty tough to see them getting that top 4 position, which is vital. So the Hawks, they'll be snarling.
They've had a long injury list. They get a couple back in Michael Osborne and Brent Guerra, just to look a bit more like the team that won the flag last year.
Yes, I still think there's 7 or 8 premiership players not there from last year, but it's certainly looking goal-to-goal line, looking pretty strong. Also, Campbell in the ruck with Taylor. That's a strong combination. We have a look at the Carlton lineup there, and their pleasing thing is that they are not relying solely on Favola to kick their goals, getting good contributions from Betts and Russell and Murphy.
So the Blues coming off a very impressive win over the Western Bulldogs, but they haven't beaten Hawthorn in exactly 4 years. It was round 6, 2005 that they last achieved that. Carlton and Hawthorn at the MCG, the first bounce coming up.
Perfect day for footy. Blue skies, not a cloud in the sky. Currently 17 degrees. That's what we've expected. There'll be no excuses today, Chris. So it is a perfect day for footy.
Absolutely, Andy. Thanks for that. And looking forward to this clash. A big opportunity for the Blues this afternoon. And I suppose one of the things that's impressed most about Carlton this year is they rank number 2 in number of points kicked. Favola has contributed just 17% of those goals. Last year, he was up near 31, nearly 32%. So a great spread of goal kickers. Last week against the Bulldogs, Carlton had 12 goal kickers, and they'll be looking to replicate that this afternoon. And I think that's been certainly one of the most impressive things about the Blues. But they come up against the reigning premier, just starting to find their feet. And can't wait to see Roughhead and Franklin in action. And the coin toss, Carlton will kick left of screen. And looking forward to this, Rob. Should be a beauty. We've got Favola at one end, Roughhead and Franklin at the other. Surely one of them will kick a bag today.
Well, I hope you're right, Chris. Just saying to Tim, I've got a feeling that Fev and Buddy will put on a show. MCG, big game, big crowd, fantastic conditions. And the build-up to this game's been really strong all week. Carlton were terrific last week in their victory over the Bulldogs. That was at Etihad Stadium. Last time the Blues played here, they were pretty disappointing when, Essendon beat them in a game they thought they should have won. But this Hawthorn team, gee, there's a lot of resolve, and they just realised they cannot afford another loss. They can't set 2 wins and 4 losses after 6 rounds. And Bauer taking Buddy Franklin, that's an interesting one. Thought it might have been Thornton or Waite. And he's got the pace to go with him, no doubt about that.
He had the job when they last played, Rob, back in round 22 last year. So Paul Bauer with that responsibility this afternoon on the big star.
They are set on their way by Scott McLaren. Cruiser got a hand onto the ball. The whistle has come from outside the square. And it's Carlton's footy. And Favola doing a Matthew Richardson almost up on the southern wing of the MCG as Carlton head towards the punt road end. The Fev missed the target and Hodge is able to extract it easily for Hawthorn. And it's a comfortable takeaway, and Lewis from half back can structure things for the Hawks.
And away they go through the logo. Brad Sewell held it a long time. Wobbly old kick towards Franklin. Took his eyes off the ball, allows Bauer in. Little kick around the body. Moss did brilliantly to try and knock it towards the line. What a star he was last week. Gary Moss, 4 goals, 24 disposals, 9 marks.
Got a feeling that Jared Waite might spend a lot of time back there in front of Buddy Franklin to help Bauer out.
Cruiser reaches over the top, shark by Lewis. In tight and tough at the moment. So umpire McLaren calls for it again.
And Thornton playing on Roughhead. Jamison, the fullback, on Campbell Brown.
So half forward for the Hawks. Williams, Lewis with Gibbs bearing down. Mitchell as the Hawks are forced a long way away from goal. It's as though they're going the other way. Dowler to Sewell to Murphy. back behind the centre, and they controlled the ball all the way, virtually from their 50, back to the centre line and beyond. Now Whitecross for Hawthorn. Played every game in his debut season. Franklin will have 3 against him. Big fist from Cruiser, but the Blues not out of trouble. Numbers around the ball though. Simpson, clever little blind turn. Cruiser to Judd. And some fancy footwork from the champion. The long kick though not so well placed. No free kick. But Murphy fights on, well tackled, one arm pinned, no hope of a legitimate disposal, but there was no prior opportunity.
Thanks, Jordan. Good tackle.
Umpire Scott McLaren says he tried to handball it. And you're right, that big kick to Buddy Franklin, 3 Carlton players around him, including Cruiser, the ruckman.
So Taylor wins it forward towards Rioli. Cruiser does his own roving off to Murphy. Chance now for Gibbs. A couple of #1 draft picks combining there. Gibbs, low worm burner towards half forward. Carazzo's got the job on Hodge. Mitchell dispossessed. Clever handball through the congestion from Hodge. Bateman. And now Williams away. Links with Jew. Can kick it a long way. Drives towards Roughhead. He's in a great spot here. Dave thought in the slip. Always tough when you're a defender trying to cover the quick ball coming in like that. And Roughhead was able to find position, and a wonderful kick from Stuart Dew to his advantage, and that's all you need.
Straight down the middle of the ground, Chriso, and through the corridor, and it just opens up the options. Interesting your call about Carlton's Carazzo playing on Luke Hodge. That's exactly as it is.
So Roughhead from 25 metres, threads it through. Hawthorn draw, first blown at the G. Jared Roughhead, 75 goals last season, played second fiddle to Lance Franklin, and the way they used the ball, wave of run through the midfield, and then the kick to advantage. No time for the Blues to get numbers back there. And Jared Roughhead on the end of a wonderful kick from Stuart Dew, and a lovely finish too, to kick his first goal of the afternoon.
Jared Roughhead, 17 goals, 3 behinds this year, so kicking very, very accurately. And Stuart Dew, the man with the golden left boot, able to set it up.
For the moment, Roughhead, the leading goal kicker in the competition, edging ahead of Franklin and Eddie Betts. All 3 on 16 at the start of the round. Favola breathing down their necks. Hard-earned ball here. Umpire Margetts will step in and break them up with another bounce.
And got this interesting situation where Hodge is trying to go to Cloak to break the Carazzo tag.
Well, I think you'll find Carazzo will stick with Hodge. Carazzo did a very good job for Carlton last week, playing on Lindsay Gilbey.
Carazzo's trying to get to Hodge, and in standing in his way is Whitecross. He wants to take Carazzo so they can free up Luke Hodge.
So Taylor and Cruiser contesting. Cruiser gained good position. Lewis just held it in. Judd tried to prize it away. Rioli eventually does do that, but he can't break. And he's gone for holding it. Unforgiving interpretation. Gibbs, Murphy, 2 young stars getting themselves into a pickle. Murphy helping Gibbs out. Joseph trying to get it to Judd. Judd can't break. Sewell, fierce tackler. Ball up. Hawthorn saying, well, was a holding the ball free kick against our man. How about theirs?
It's a good tackle on Chris Judd if he can't get a handball out.
So a bounce at half forward. Judd can't control it. Wiggins can. Good handball. Just makes Stephen stretch. Off to Gibbs, who's been prominent early. Little chip around the body. Carazzo. Now he's been trying to get himself onto Luke Hodge. Whitecross is the man trying to man up Carazzo so that Luke Hodge is free in that defence for Hawthorn. But what a wonderful kick to his advantage. Mark and a push. So Carazzo, who missed a little bit of footy, just his second game for the year, averaged 27 disposals in his last 17 games here at the MCG, and he threads it through. Carlton have their first.
Nice little victory that when the man who's given the tagging job in the forward line, Carazzo, is able to kick a goal. And Carazzo, one of Carlton best and fairest, more as a half-back flanker.
Now there's Whitecross. He wants to get to Carazzo. Carazzo's trying to go to Hodge. And there's this situation developing here. Carazzo, you can see there, wanting to go to Hodge, and Whitecross stepping in the way. And temper's getting a little frayed there because Carazzo's instructions are, you play on Hodge. Whitecross, you take Carazzo.
Getting a bit unsociable. So, Wolsey, there's got to be a free Carlton man there. What does he do?
Well, it's Cameron Cloak, Andy, and he's sitting back at the top of the goal square.
Clear into Taylor, Rioli, Sewell. Good takeaway by the Hawks. Long ball in the rough head direction. Armfield was brave. Chance for Hawthorn. High ball from Moss.
And it was Moss who kicked 4 goals last week for the Hawks. Some interesting positioning in this game. Sam Mitchell, the centreman, he's started the game as a half-back flanker.
Roughhead doing the ruck work close to goal. Murphy. Wait. Has options. Exercises them. Thornton. Judd. Carlton moving it quickly and fluently enough. Scotland to Betts. Covers a lot more ground these days. He's up well beyond the wing, almost at half-back.
Yeah, he's got Carazzo short. Now that's Hodges' man because Whitecross has taken up the challenge to go into Betts. So Carazzo, Armfield now loops the handball. Wasn't a great one. Eventually gets to Gibbs. Judd in support. His handball got to Joseph, who can kick inside attacking 50 here. Wasn't a great kick. Stevens cleverly handled. Off to Favola. Deep in the pocket. Pulls it back across his body. It bounces through for a goal. Brendan Favola. Take a bow from deep in the right forward pocket. Has been off target for most of the year. He'll be pleased with that.
That is just amazing. Good play by Stevens. One to trap the footy. Unselfishly gives the ball to Fev. And Fev says, I can do anything. Have a look at this. Bounces it through. And that will do wonders for his confidence. And have a look at that great angle. Great angle. Wonderful goal. And Fev's a happy man.
Fev and Buddy dead level for the season on 16 goals, 13 apiece. Missing almost as often as they hit. Cruiser has a breather.
It's interesting. Carazzo will follow Hodge wherever he goes. Now Hodge is saying, well, I'm going after Cameron Cloak. Carazzo says, I don't care. I've been assigned to cover you, and that's what I'll do.
O'Halpin goes straight into the ruck. Renoff in there for Hawthorn. The number 2's now doing the duty. Hawthorn's footy. That's a good takeaway. Dowler, the water's parted for him there and he was able to duck through, but the kick was poor. Waite took the risk, sprawling for the ball, needed to mark it, and he came up with it. He has a man loose on the wing. It's Murphy, who's having a lot of it early. Floating it for Gibbs or Joseph. Neither was sure which one was going. Joseph taking it out to the boundary. Between wing and half forward for the Blues, who have strung a couple of goals together to lead Hawthorn in the first half of the opening quarter of a big game at the MCG.
The other interesting matchup, Rob, is Murphy on Betts.
Yes, a lot bigger than him, isn't he?
Judd wrapped up and we'll get another bounce.
I think what Brett Ratton would be happy with, Cloak's in the goal square, and at the moment Campbell, the ruckman, is on him. There's Murphy on Betts. So Renouf doing the ruck work for the Hawks, but the other ruckman is now at full back on Cameron Cloak. That's a victory to the Blues because it means Carazzo's sitting on Hodge.
Well, the Hawthorn have given up and allowed Carazzo now to man Hodge up. So Bateman wins this out only as far as Stevens. Normally uses it very well. Kick inside the corridor. Oh, gee, Russell slipped over. Allows Mitchell in. They can build here, the Hawks. Mitchell. Left foot towards half forward. Williams leads in the race for the footy, pursued by Jamieson. A little bit too much toe though. Wasn't a great kick. Morton can control it. Jamieson can. Can he get the handball out, Jamieson? No. Good tackle coming from Morton. Oh, geez, in trouble here. Oh.
He's very fortunate.
Umpire gave him the benefit of the doubt. I think Steve Clarkson might have been thinking the same thing. Bounce on attacking 50 for the Hawks.
So he took possession while he was on the ground. It's a dangerous thing to do. Lewis, third man up there, getting the tap for Hawthorn. Gibbs trying to work his way through the traffic. Sewell, oh, he's an expert in these situations. The raging bull. Now Brown boxed out by Waite. Carlton with numbers. Bauer and Thornton. Campbell-Brown fights on, but eventually the numbers prevail. Thornton delivers to Houlihan. Good smother by Mitchell. Carlton getting there in number zone. Armfield helps out. Waite pops it forward, but miscued that and gives it over the head of Carazzo to Hodge.
Dangerous kick, well done, Betts, affected the spoil, wrapped up though by Hodge. Play on the call, Houlihan gathers the footy. Hawks have got the numbers around the ball, and Mitchell handball out to Roughhead. Dowler chips it wide again dangerously, and Bateman claims the mark. Not paid, said the umpire, but he's got possession. Off to Mitchell. Career high 40 disposals last week, and his delivery is good.
And Mitchell played mainly as a defender last week. Chriso doing it again today.
Murphy's handball wasn't great, taken by Tuck. Scrambly old kick towards half forward. Was Morton pushed in the back by Joseph? No, says the umpire. And we get a bounce at centre half forward for Hawthorn.
Eddie Betts is very sore. Taken to ground in the tackle by Luke Hodge. He should have tapped the ball into space and not got crunched. He'll learn the hard way, young Eddie.
Halpin getting a hand onto it. Houlihan needed to be surer than that. Mitchell to Osborne, one way or the other, and he had men covering him both sides. Dowler to Sewell, doing well. Quick and flat, the kick and the full forward. There's a push.
Gets Roughhead.
Kick.
Please on the full now.
Yeah, pretty obvious one there against Jared Roughhead.
Gee, it's at the other end of the ground. Campbell, the ruckman, is now playing on Favola. I don't like that.
Judd has a target. It's Armfield. Lose control of footy. Just looking a shade better than the Hawks in the early part. Simpson over the top to Bentley, the former Port Adelaide player, playing his first game for the Blues. Carazzo beautifully weighted to Scotland on the left and kicks the goal. The Blues have their third and lead by 12 points.
Well, there's the push in the back, and it's the Carlton free kick. Thornton says it's mine, and the Blues take at the end of the ground with very good foot passing.
Goal to Scotland. Carlton had their third. This is the push out by Roughhead, which earned Thornton the free kick. Thornton knew it, and a great transference of play. Carlton very impressive early.
We just saw a shot there of Robbie Campbell on Favola. That's not a good matchup for the Hawks.
Sewell gets it to Morton, threads it with a little fumble from Tuck. Oh, gee.
Watch the body, mate. He's down getting the ball. Straight there, mate.
And that's the problem. When a player fumbles, the incoming player makes it pretty tough for him. Kick out wide to Aguera. No, it's got to come back. So Morton with it now. Gee, not a great kick. Gets to its intended target in Williams. Corralled by Waite. But Williams kicks it short. Out comes Roughhead chipping into the space. Great courage shown by Simpson. Now it's with O'Halpin. Judd. Oh, somehow he got the handball off to Scotland, who keeps the arms clear and normally uses it very well. Beautiful kick to Carazzo. 15 metres in front of Hodge, Andrew Carazzo. Could have gone short over the top to Murphy. Elected to go longer towards Russell. And it's all Hawthorn. Wide cross. Good. Got to Guerra. Okay. And they switch the play. Williams has got it now at half back.
And the Hawks can rebound. Roughhead's come a long way from home, up on the southern wing. Beautiful day in mid-autumn here in Melbourne. Sun shining, Roughhead having to shield his eyes from it. Here's Big Taylor for the Hawks. And Williams now clear. Swinging it forward but aimlessly. Straight to Waite. Hawthorn breaking down up front. Waite sees Cruiser coming off the bench. Swings it to him. And he has help in the form of Houlihan. Carlton with a 2-on-1, then a 3-on-2. Now the numbers square up though as Rioli arrived. Joseph arrives for the Blues. Scotland threaded it beautifully to Houlihan. Carlton putting it together pretty well. Murphy placing it. And running to the spot was Jordan Russell, who just got the palm of one hand underneath it and let the ball land on it.
Carlton's kicking's been very good.
Bentley at the end of that, Favola, Wiggins and Carazzo. Kick one already. How will it bounce? It will bounce, not quite at an angle that Carazzo needed.
It's a good move, Tim. Carazzo's dangerous. Carazzo's a ball magnet. He can keep an opponent quiet and still get a lot of the ball himself.
So Williams now has it, still well inside defence of 50 for Hawthorn. Now if Carlton used the ball effectively to Carazzo, Hodge does stand off him, so a real avenue for them. Now Campbell, centre half back for Hawthorn. Little chip is okay. Murphy. Wide handball. Guerra. Kick towards Franklin, who muscles his way past Bauer and is marked 60 from goal. Beautifully done. Beautifully orchestrated by Hawthorn. The mark's been paid, and that's to the disappointment of Carlton fans, but...
Did he mark it? Or did the umpire blow the whistle a bit too early, presuming he had marked it?
Correct, Robert. But it's been paid, and got the situation where Roughhead just led into the hole created by Franklin. Down to Andy quickly.
Yeah, you just saw Kate Simpson cork right thigh. He's gone underneath for some treatment, Chris O.
Thanks, mate. So Jordan Roughhead from just inside 50. Lovely, relaxed couple of steps, and he puts it through. So Roughhead has his second, and the margin back to 7 points. Getting the ball in quickly. Great kick from Guerra. Franklin coming up, and then Roughhead leading back into Franklin's space that he deserted. Wonderful play from Hawthorn.
Yes, just a terrific little chip pass by Buddy. I'm sure they've done that thousands of times on the training track. The two big forwards looking after each other. And Andy, Favola's off. I can't understand why, because he hasn't been in the play that much, but Favola's off the ground.
I think they're happy to get the rotations going. Wolsey are helping, gives them the opportunity to do that with both Cloak and Favola, and they're happy to do it, the Blues.
Saw Simpson suffering that bruised thigh. Michael Christian observed that he showed courage in the contest. He paid for it. Carlton go forward. Bentley, he probably made the wrong judgment there in diving after the ball. And in the end, it put him out of the contest, which Dowler was able to win easily. Morton, well smothered by Houlihan. Roughhead with a stronger body than the Carlton man. Prizes it out. And the Hawks are able to swing it forward. Tuck wide into the 50 and touched over the line.
A couple of Carlton players have dived on the ball, and Bentley there. You just can't go to ground. If you do, make sure you mark it, son, because if you spill the beans, the other team will mop up.
Cruiser, uncontested. Chance, though, for Franklin. Oh, he's dangerous in this situation. Fires the handball back to Lewis. He loops it to Morton. Can he find a target this time? He can. Roughhead just inside attacking 50. And just signalling there, I think. They'll go for it. He's kicked a couple of goals already, Jared Roughhead.
Well, why not? He's in red-hot goal-kicking form. If he gets this, he's third for the quarter. Brett Ratton has to decide, does he keep Thornton on him?
13-1 from set shots this year. Quite remarkable. What a lovely, relaxed action. He's kicked it. He's got 3. Jared Roughhead, 3 goals. Hawks back to within a point. And been watching his kicking. Hasn't always been one of his great strengths, but just 3 or 4 lovely, relaxed steps. And beautiful action. And Hawthorn have hit back here.
It's just, as you say, it's a little more than a stroll in.
Yeah.
But that's his technique, and it serves him well. No 5, 6, 8, 10 steps, just 3 or 4 steps, and he keeps in a straight line. Thornton is on him at the moment, but if he gets another goal or 2, I'd be thinking of Jared Waite or Jamison taking on that responsibility.
Brings to mind that old poem about Lillian Thompson. If Lily don't get you, Tomo will. It's a bit like that with Buddy and Jared. Although the names don't quite have the cadence and the magic. Here's Dowler for Hawthorn. And And gives himself time to choose the right option. Delivers to Osborne. Forward and wide. Waite reaching over, making the spoil on Williams. Gibbs covers it. The line was the only hope, really. Carlton by 1 point, but we have a real contest here at the MCG as the game just starts to settle into a rhythm.
Boundary throwing, Cruiser in front. Chance for O'Halpin. Got it to Murphy. Now Simpson, who looks to have recovered. Chips it short. Oh, gee, set Cruiser up there. Gave Whitecross a good look at it, but Carlton have got the numbers at ground level. Murphy, Cruiser, back to Bauer. Got one on the way through from Franklin. Judd, cool in a crisis. Wasn't the greatest of kicks, though. They've got the numbers, the Blues. Can they knock it forward? Bentley tries to run onto it. Did well to get the handball to Carazzo. The look away. Handball is okay to Wiggins. Now drifting back. Big chance for Cloak here. Oh, he couldn't quite hold on. O'Halpin's there in support, but he can't get it to him. Oh, comedy of errors there. They had 2 on 1. And Hawthorn now sweep it away. Campbell off to Bateman, who's got space at half-back. 3 bounces. Wants to draw. Jamison and does. Off to Osborne. Left foot kick, who was dealt with late, but poor kick. And Waite's read it beautifully back there. And he'll get 50.
And Stuart Dew just a little bit too aggressive for the umpire's liking.
Mixed reaction from the fans. Hawthorn fans feeling their man on the point of delivery to the where that ball dropped.
Down the other end of the ground, it wasn't a great combination. The Cloak O'Halpin duo wasn't.
They didn't combine too well, Rob.
No.
Waite stabbing ball to Murphy.
2 metres, thank you.
Low skimming kick. Ran off, well tackled by Carazzo, but the big man strong enough to get a hand pass that was legit. Now Gibbs, well smothered by Sewell, been outstanding in this first quarter. Tuck to Dowler, and the Hawks advance, and it's a good-looking move. Dowler confident run, and has an option out wider still. Moss searching with the left for Franklin. All Carlton at the fall. Joseph to Waite, who's been a sure hand back there, although Roughhead, of course, has been very dangerous. And now the delivery to Houlihan, who loops it over the top and waits there again.
Hawthorn, they've zoned up, so Carlton forced to try and kick short and find a target in amongst the Hawthorn zone. There's another one as Wiggins finds Carazzo. He's drawn Hodge out to centre wing. He's been busy, Carazzo, 6 disposals. He's done his job in this opening quarter on the Hawks star. Kicks high towards half forward. Renouf should have marked, tried to fist it and missed it. Mitchell. Now Lewis. And Dowler is away. Good chase by Favola, but Dowler finds Moss. Finding his feet in AFL football. Gary Moss as he kicks long towards half forward. Bateman versus Joseph. Joseph did brilliantly. Nice little side bump on Bateman to gather the footy. And eventually Thornton finds Judd just backward of centre wing.
Has a man loose, wide. Simpson, who's come back. Judd keeps coming to receive, and now to try and set it up. The important kick into the 50. It's crowded. Favola arrived, but in front, Lewis takes the stout-hearted mark for the Hawks and doesn't stand there waiting for the photographers to line him up. He sees Dew loose. Dew gives to Roughhead, who really has been the star of this opening quarter. 3 goals. Hawthorn's entire score.
They've moved Thornton off Roughhead.
Bad miss by Mitchell. Makes things a little messy. Roughhead to Murphy. Leans back, it hangs, but it gets there in time with Favola charging at Lewis. Now Williams. Dowler running in front of him, and Williams gives to him. And Dowler, for the second time in a minute, can place Hawthorn into an advantageous spot. Campbell Brown, fine mark.
Well, Brett Thornton has the horrors. He's been moved off Roughhead, who kicked 3 on him. Now his opponent's Campbell Brown.
Ever the opportunist seizes the moment and puts Hawthorn in front late in the opening term.
Gee, Chance Bateman wreaking havoc on the southern wing, and Bo Dowler getting a fair bit of the football. Great kick to position. Brown got in behind the defence, in behind Thornton, and it was a good kick by Dowler. to the advantage of Brown. That's all Ford's asked, a kick to their advantage. And a nice finish from Campbell Brown, even though it was a little risky. Look at that. Bo Dowler, 11 disposals. His career high is 18. We're not even at quarter time.
There's confusion there. Thornton standing with Roughhead, not sure whether he was meant to be on him.
Yeah, well, O'Halpin's been sent back there by the coach, and Thornton is the worry because he just can't control an opponent.
Rioli, Roughhead. He's been paid. He's dealt with Thornton, and he dealt with O'Halpin there. Great strength from Jared Roughhead. And he'll come in and try and kick. Look at this. That's just great stuff.
Makes the body contact early, doesn't he? There it is. Gets O'Halpin out of the way, juggles it with the one hand. And we'll watch this very relaxed kicking action.
3 or 4 steps, and he kicks it. He's got 4. Not even quarter time. Hawthorn now have kicked the last 4 goals in the game, and despite facing an early deficit of 13 points, now lead by 11, and the star has been Jared Roughhead. 4 straight. Reminds me, Rob, a little of Tony Lockett's running, just 3 or 4 casual steps, and he was one of the most accurate kicks of all time.
Well, Jared Roughhead, he's the star with his 4 goals, and Buddy Franklin just 2 touches. It's nice when you can alternate between 2 stars of the game like that.
Hawks by 11 points. Renoff against Cruiser. Judd, Gibbs just touching it to Armfield. If it was intentional, it was clever. O'Halpin having gone to Roughhead and immediately had a goal kicked against him. It took about 15 seconds. Mitchell wins against Russell. Hawthorn getting on top here. Good coverage by the Blues though to smother Roughhead. Gibbs to Armfield. Still time for some scoring late in this term. Cloak, who gave up an opportunity a little while ago, wastes no time. Favola beaten by Campbell comprehensively. Not often Favola has a man who can outstrength him. Campbell did it very deftly there.
Now Morton at half-back for Hawthorn. Delivers long. He was in a good spot, but good play by Thornton, pushing back on his much smaller opponent. And he takes the mark off to Waite, who's been mopping up across half-back in this opening quarter. Now Bentley between half-back and wing. Gets the call from Russell, but gee, kicking short to a contest.
This fellow Russell goes to ground far too often. He's gone to ground half a dozen times in this first quarter. There's the Robert Campbell mark, strength against Fev. The worry with O'Halpin playing in the back line is that Cruiser will have to play a lone hand in the ruck for Carlton.
So Stevens feeds it back to Simpson. Little kick okay. Gathered by Gibbs into the path of Murphy, coming to meet at Mitchell. Murphy did well to regain the footy and somehow get the handball out to Russell, and has earned a free kick in the process.
I think we're seeing a star emerge in Murphy.
Now Bentley, 65 from goal at right half forward. Wheels onto the left. Gee, it's a thumping kick. Favola in front. He's got it. Favola's marked deep in the right forward pocket. Now he's got to be careful not to play on here, because that's the siren. And after they controlled things early, the Blues, and led by 13 points, Hawthorn have kicked the last 4 goals in the game to lead by 11. This would be very handy. Got to be a little careful with the check side kick that you don't get called play on. He is careful, but he misses to the near side. So 1 behind, quarter time at the MCG. Carlton 3-2, Hawthorn 5 straight. Hawthorn by 10 points, and a wonderful opening by the Blues. But the Hawks hitting back. Jared Roughhead, the star. He's kicked 4 to quarter time.
The MCG 30 plays 20 at quarter time. Carlton got to a 2-goal break. Hawthorn hit back. Jared Roughhead, 4 goals of Hawthorn's 5. He's kicked half of the goals booted in the first term.
Well, just an amazing first quarter effort by the big forward. And won his marks in contest, Chriso, which is very impressive. 6 marks there. But he takes them in contest, he takes them inside 50, which means he can go back and have a set shot for goal. And he's such an accurate shot for goal.
Yeah, he's kicking the ball beautifully and just leading into space. And with Hawthorn being able to get the ball in quickly and their midfield is using it so well, he's at a big advantage.
Days like these, you say, Buddy, who, don't you? Which is ridiculous. The problem is, who do they play on him? Because he cleaned up Thornton. As soon as it came down to O'Halpin, he was pushed out of the way. Maybe Jared Waite, because Bauer's doing a good job on Buddy Franklin at this stage.
20 goals, 3 for the season, which is quite remarkable, and 15-1 from set shots. So Jared Ruffhead in outstanding form for Hawthorn this afternoon.
Alistair Clarkson keeping the group together for a long time. Carlton have broken up and taken up their positions, but the Hawthorn coach taking it to the limit in terms of time. And now the Hawks disperse. The second quarter soon to get underway. That decision made against Anthony Rocker here last week has opened a can of worms, hasn't it? We saw some contentious ones last night where pushers in marking contests weren't paid against the pusher. And a couple even in that opening quarter were line ball. And the umpire's not as attentive, it seems, as was the case in that moment when Rocker took the mark and looked as though he was going to kick the ceiling goal.
Brendan Favola kicked 1 goal 1, and unlike Ruffhead, hasn't had the ball kicked to his advantage. A couple of times where he's been out on a lead, the ball's either been kicked up behind him or on top of him, so hasn't had his best quarter.
And 2 stars of the game in picture there. Cyril Rioli, 33, Mark Murphy, 3. Opposed to each other at this centre bounce.
So second quarter underway, Hawthorn by 10 points. Well done, my Murphy. Got the handball. Jarred, little flick onto Cruiser, who wobbles it towards Favola. Fist from Campbell. Well, what's that matchup with interest? Carrazzo now. Handball looking for Betts. Oh, brilliant blind turn from Eddie Betts. Chips forward. Mitchell cuts the angle, but Favola almost held on. Couldn't. Now Mitchell. Handball Rioli. Got to weave some magic here. What can he muster? He's in amongst 3 Carlton players. He's wrapped up.
Fev's on the ground feeling sorry for himself. He got a backhander in a marking contest the first time it went down, and then they put that pass to him. Don't know if he's bleeding or not, but he's a little bit distressed.
So from the bounce, big pack of players around the footy. Cruiser getting in there doing the dirty work along with Lewis, and the umpire calls for it again.
Thornton back onto Ruffhead at the other end of the ground.
This is the incident here.
Well, the follow-through punch got Fev in the eye. Bad luck.
Moss. And Gary Moss put his head down and earned the free kick at half-back for Hawthorn. Off to Lewis. Swings play was a poor kick and intercepted by Joseph. Over the top. Now Cameron Cleek just lost the handle for a moment and delayed the handball, put Houlihan under pressure. Williams, Moss combines with Morton. Morton in a bit of trouble. It was a good tackle from Houlihan. Moss does very well to try and at least knock it towards Lewis. Now Bateman under pressure here from the Carlton forwards. Mitchell squeezes the kick. It was a poor one, and Waite takes the mark on centre wing.
Hold there, Brendan, hold! Brendan, hold!
It's a while since Carlton have kicked a goal. They strung 3 together during the opening term. We're on a mini roll, but Hawthorn reined them in. And the Blues are trying to find the way home. Scotland sits this up. Favola having a run at it from behind Taylor, but the big Hawk put the fist on the ball. And Campbell might be an inspired choice against Favola because he's got strength.
He has, and that's why Fev has to get on the lead. Not be caught in those one-on-one contests with the ball coming 50, 60 metres. If he gets on the lead, he'll beat Campbell.
Just changes the dynamic, though, doesn't it, in the wrestling contest? Favola's not going to win too many of those. Here's Judd taking it away from goal. Now Stevens found some space. Can he find a straight kick? Yes, he can. The Blues kick the first of the term.
Beautiful kick.
Isn't it an amazing kick? Tucked up on the boundary line, 50 metres from goal. He has got exquisite skill, Nick Stevens. And good pressure, all built up, Rob, because of the pressure that Carlton forwards were applying. They're able to keep the ball in. And a fantastic finish from Nick Stevens, adding a real bit of class to The Carlton forward line has Brendan Favola received some treatment.
Well, Fev got the accidental punch on the nose. This goal results from Judd with the vision to find Stevens in space. And it's a goal from a stoppage, which Carlton are so very, very good at.
Rioli out of the centre. Sewell, good tackle coming from Houlihan, wrapped him up. Umpire McLaren says, give it to me. There you go, there's the explanation.
Gee, we've got a good contest in the middle, boys, and it is Sewell and Judd going head to head.
So Taylor and Cruiser. Taylor down towards Lewis. Judd somehow found the footy. Good presence though from Sewell. Dowler's handball cut off. Houlihan has been good. Judd, nice side step. Wasn't a great kick off the boot. Taylor can mop up at half-back for Hawthorn. Oh, his handball a little too fierce for Murphy. Sewell now escapes the Betts tackle off to Dowler. And he can try and find a target. And there's not much to kick to. In fact, there's no one to kick to. Armfield now in plenty of space on centre wing. Murphy back to Armfield. Houlihan, a little fumble. Got the handball back, but all of a sudden Carlton in space and Hawthorn have closed them down. Waite dancing on the boundary line. Good play from Bateman, forcing him over, corralled him well, and we'll get a boundary throw in on the southern wing.
The Hawks have 3 ruckmen in the team today. Taylor, Renouf and Campbell, who's playing at full back, but there's a lot of muscle there, and muscle has worried Carlton in the past.
Yep, there wasn't a lot of pressure in that previous exchange, but it was psychological and Carlton came undone. Dowler, who's been good, stands in the way here and feeds to Rioli. And he gives to Williams. Has a look, sees things are pretty open. Doesn't go the full journey. He had Franklin offering him something. Carlton with numbers on top here. They have to be clean. Jamison giving it backwards to Jared Waite, who goes long, but it's not a great option. Wiggins has 2 against him. One of them Hodge and the other Morton. Taylor there as well, and so's Dowler. The Hawks hold firm. Mitchell has Taylor in short, gives it to him cleanly. And Hawthorn with the polish of a successful and experienced, albeit young team.
Gee, off the ball, Hodge and Scotland at each other. He's getting frustrated, Luke Hodge.
Waite applying pressure to Taylor. And Scotland laying a tackle and winning a free kick for Carlton.
Gibbs wrenched the ball clear, little kick towards Houlihan. Good contest between Mitchell and Houlihan. White cross, dangerous handball. Judd running onto the loose footy. He'll keep his feet. No, he doesn't. He's dragged down, but got it off the Betts. Couldn't find the footy. Couldn't get boot the ball. And Campbell mops up Hodge. Good little give to Bateman in the congested pack. Back to Campbell. Bateman, they're running as they do Hawthorn. This is typical Hawthorn, we know, Rob.
Wonderful.
Running in waves as Sewell kicks wide. And Mark Williams has got it between centre and half back for Hawthorn.
I'm looking at Luke Hodge and he's saying to the umpire near him, what about giving me a fair go? Carato's hanging on to me.
Williams towards half forward. At the back, a chance for Lewis. Forward of the play. Stuart Jew, couple of steps from 45. Thank you very much. Go to Hawthorn. Jew comes from the ground. Looked like he kicked it about 20. It went nearly 50. And Hawthorn are back to 10 points in front of Carlton. Good work there from Jordan Lewis. The way Hawthorn are moving the ball when they get this wave running through half-back is very, very impressive.
Strong, strong bodies.
Wouldn't that moment have brought back some memories and gladdened Hawthorn hearts? Punt Road end, sun shining on the MCG. It's autumn, not spring, but there was something familiar about the moment. Cruiser gets the tap for the Blues, but here's Rioli, and there's something a bit familiar about this too. Franklin one grab, roving him as Bateman, impossible angle. It wasn't a bad attempt. Hawthorn rolling, leading the Blues by 11 points.
Kick comes in to Thornton and Jared Waite. So that's what's across the ground there. Thornton's options. Decides to kick along the line. Target, Wiggins and Bentley, the back cruiser. Well done, Joseph. Paddled to his own advantage. Now he's away. Oh, good turn of speed from Aaron Joseph. Now needs to affect the handball. He does. Gets it to Carazzo. He hasn't got too much to go to. Tries to thread the pass to Betts. Murphy, with the superior height, was able to force it over.
And his height was handy there, wasn't it?
Wasn't it just? Boundary thrown deep in Carlton's attacking zone.
But Buddy Franklin, just the 2 disposals. Bauer getting the spoil on him there, doing a terrific job.
Betts likewise, only 2 disposals. They shared the lead in the goal-kicking race going into the round. Jared Roughhead has swamped them thus far. Hawks work it around. Hodge deliberating, perhaps just a little long. Joseph missing an easy mark, hasn't made too many mistakes. Stevens slipping the Franklin tackle, but turning it over. Lewis, Bateman. And a little bit of time. Not too much, though. And Hawthorn getting themselves into trouble. Murphy, Judd, Carlton now can hit them on the counter punch. And Stevens hits Favola in the breastbone.
Well, it was just wonderful play, but it all came from Murphy, Judd. Handball, quick handball, set Stevens up. You don't want the ball in anyone's hands other than Stevens. That's a bad kick on the left foot. Puts it into his teammate's head. Thanks very much. But this one on the run, he finds Fev on the lead.
That's much better.
We've got a break because of the blood rule. This is crunch time for Carlton. I'm going to mention some Carlton names who have to stand up when the heat is on, because they've been able to play in bottom of the ladder teams for 5 or 6 years. Simpson, Cloak, Thornton, Russell, Wiggins, Houlihan. Let's see how good you are on centre stage when it really matters.
Hold up here as Morton comes off with the blood rule, boys.
The Fev, who was bleeding himself a while ago, although there wasn't a profuse volume of blood flow from the nose, you'd have to say, having seen the towel.
That is an unusual grip. Look where the left hand is. I don't like it.
And he doesn't kick as well as he used to when he used the orthodox grip a few years ago.
He's got a stupid grip, which is getting stupid results.
Okay. Comments from Rob Walls. So Hodge at fullback. Costly miss. That could be dangerous kick, but it's okay. Mark taken by Rioli. Just starting to work into the game, Cyril Rioli. Off to Murphy. Well, it wasn't a great handball. Dowler has to circle the footy and can't control it, so a boundary thrown at half-forward for Carlton.
I think Wolsey's just added the Fev's name to that list.
Well, I've just checked how many goals behinds he's kicked from set shots. He's kicked 11 goals, 13 behinds. Not good enough.
Cloak with the run of the football. Stevens beats him to it. Little kick around the body. He's clever. Simpson now. I don't think Simpson realised he was paid the mark, and he played on and has cocked it up. So they share it. Murphy, Mitchell, back to Rioli, confronted by Favola, but sidesteps very nicely. And the kick is good. Well, Guerra couldn't take the mark. Umpire said it was okay. Now, Carlton have got the numbers here. Scotland, little give to Betts. Favola wants it deep. He's got 2 to beat here. And crashing across, and they nearly mucked it up Hawthorn as Murphy crashed across his teammate Campbell. Behind to Carlton. And the margin now is 9 points in favour of the Hawks.
Robert Campbell in a bit of trouble after that last collision with the 2 Hawks. He's been playing on Fev. I reckon he might have twisted the ankle.
Some talls out there today, aren't there? The Hawks have got their 3 big men. Campbell, Taylor, Renoff. They've got Roughhead and Franklin.
It's a big team. It's a big, strong Hawthorn team. And I reckon they think that muscle is what will hurt the Blues.
Good day to have talls on the ground. Perfect conditions. Numbers against Judd. Franklin having a run up the paddock at the moment for the Hawks. Mitchell and Sewell, Murphy and Franklin, and Hawthorn make the takeaway. Just got to complete it now, and Franklin with his second feel of it in a couple of seconds, but it's chopped off by Bauer.
Oh, gee.
Now, Bauer has been Franklin's opponent. No doubt Buddy's been told, go and have a run on the ball and see if you can get some touches. Buddy back there guarding Fev now.
Carazzo to Gibbs. Hawthorn back in numbers. Stevens been damaging in this quarter. One goal and one set-up that should have produced a goal. Here's Favola with 2 against him. Cloak lying on the ground for Carlton. Gave Hawthorn the numbers. Moss clears. Williams down in the back half. They're almost all in the back half for the Hawks, who hold up against the Carlton challenge.
And Stevens falling for the 3-card trick. That's exactly what Hawthorn wanted him to do. Bomb it long where they had the numbers. And lack of patience there from Nick Stevens. Need to maintain possession of that situation as Tuck kicks across the ground. Dowler, Mitchell. Lost the footy, but found it again. Out wide to Murphy, who's got plenty of time to make the right decision here. Murphy kicks wide, not quite sure who to. Maybe Rioli. Simpson, his opponent. Simpson did well, pushed him off the ball, then found it again. He's got supporting Cloak. Carlton can rebuild again. Wasn't a great kick from Cloak. Gave Murphy a good look at it. And from frustration from Nick Stevens, a boundary throw-in on the southern wing.
Well, Cameron Cloak has to step up, being given a run in the ruck. Halpin's gone forward. Cruiser having a spell.
Half the quarter gone. Only one mark taken inside the 50 at either end of the ground.
It's interesting, Tim, you say the 50s. Carlton's had 9 inside 50s this quarter. The Hawks have just had the 2. But Carlton really struggling to score when they get it in there.
1 goal apiece for the term. The longer Hawthorn hold up, you would think the more likely the game is to fall their way ultimately. Houlihan going for Stevens, and again he's dangerous. And Judd's there with him. 70 out, so he goes for the Fev on the lead. They can have another go from the set shot. Let's have a look at the grip.
Now, the last 2 marks he's taken on the lead, and that's what he's got to do, because he'll be able to outrun Campbell, no doubt about that. You've got Stevens, you've got Judd kicking it to you. You can't have it gift wrapped any better than that. Let's see him convert, Chriso.
Look at the Hawthorn players around Favola. What a superb kick from Chris Judd.
The left hand on top of the footy is most unorthodox.
That's a better result. That's the orthodox 6 points. It puts Carlton within 3.
So Favola has his second. And look at the recovery from Nick Stevens, who's been great. And just mention this kick. He had to chip it up to get over Hawthorn player immediately in front of him. You can see in the background 3 Hawthorn players. The skill of Chris Judd there. And Brendan pretty happy with that result. 2 goals 2 for Brendan Favola.
Inside 50s, domination by Carlton in this second quarter. And the clearances are Carlton's way too, 6-4. They just have to make sure that they get it on the board with this dominance in the midfield.
2-2 to 1-1 Carlton's way. Beautiful play out of the centre. Murphy to Russell. Now Gibbs combining. Kick inside, attacking 50 at the back. Carazzo, but his opponent Hodge read it brilliantly and was marked in defence. Wide kick gets to Williams. Wide cross. On defensive 50. Kick to Moss. Gibbs. Great fist, first to recover, and the benefit of getting numbers across to the contest. Bentley went across to assist Gibbs, and they find the footy. Kick towards Carazzo, no free kick. Well done, Joseph. Bentley kept running from 50. Kicks it very high to the goal square. A wrestle going back. Well done, Morton. Favola and Wiggins are in the contest, well, sort of in the contest for the Blues. They're outgunned, outnumbered. Are behind to Carlton. The margin back to 2 points.
Well, we've gone 17 minutes in this second quarter. Jared Ruffhead hasn't touched the footy. Kicked 4 goals in the first quarter. There's one reason why he hasn't touched it. It hasn't been down there.
Well, it's not unlike the grand final, is it? You've got Hawthorn's opponent pressing, having ample opportunity to gain a significant lead in the game, but Hawthorn good enough to hold them up for an extended period.
Bateman and Nick Stevens opposed to each other. This will be a good contest. I really, really rate Bateman.
Stevens a big winner in this quarter for the Blues, and there he is again. And so skilled once he gets his hands on it. From out of a little pocket, he's able to gain 50 metres for Carlton. And again, they're working towards their 50.
Pretty smart kick by Stevens in the end. kick for touch to the boundary line, gain the 50 metres.
Without making it obvious?
Without making it obvious. They've been good around the stoppages, Carlton.
Now, is that in the back? Tackler falling onto the back of the player with the ball, but not so awarded by umpire Margetts. Travis Tuck, the man under it all, ruefully picking himself up. Cloak hasn't had a good day so far. Got clean contact there. Moss the paddle. Mitchell at the end of it.
That's a super tackle by Cruiser, the big fella, because a lot of ruckmen are cumbersome and would give away a free kick in that situation. He's a smart player.
So Carlton close to goal again. Cruiser got a hand onto that. Favola. Betts was lurking, still lurking, but the bounce wasn't kind to him. Wharton giving it off. Murphy clearing. And Whitecross receiving for Hawthorn.
Running hard is Bateman. Can't see Nick Stevens in the frame this time. One bounce. Now calling for Williams to come to him, and he does. Hits him on the chest. Right half forward. Sets it up. Rough head at the back, fist from Thornton. Thornton found it at ground level, off to Waite. Little chip kick is very dangerous. Chance for Tuck. Well done, Russell. Oh, pushed him in the middle of the back.
Gee, that's crude.
Just clumsy.
Well, you got to be smarter than that. And Jordan Russell to ground too often.
Feeds it off quickly to Judah Brown. Now to Moss, 60 from goal. Little kick is a beauty. And Osborne back after injuring himself in round one when the Hawks played the Cats, will kick from 40 metres directly in front. And they've missed his hardness up forward, I reckon, in the last few weeks.
He's been a really good player for them, Michael Osborne, over the last couple of years. Been at Hawthorn for a long while now. Premiership player that just does the tough things week in, week out.
So coming in for his 6th disposal. Should kick a goal for Hawthorn against the flow of play, and he does. Out by 8 points now, the Hawks. And we see it so often, don't we, where a side dominates proceedings and they can't get the value on the scoreboard. Hawthorn whisk it down. A clumsy free kick against Jordan Russell. And he pays the price. The Hawthorn goal. Good use of the ball by Gary Moss, who starting to believe that he belongs at the top level.
And you can see the frustration on Chris Judd's face. They've worked so hard and they give it up like that.
Queensland's been good to Hawthorn. They've got 3 from the Sunshine State in their team. Renoff and Whitecross, as well as Michael Osborne.
Inside 50s for the quarter. 13-4 in favour of the Blues. They've only won the quarter by a couple of points.
So Hawthorn by 8 points. Judd dives in and gets the reward for being first to the ball. The umpire changes his advantage call. Chris Judd to receive it. And just goes sideways to Houlihan, who was going to be on the end of the advantage a moment ago. Jamison, Houlihan, share it around. The defender Jamison now. Flat delivery to O'Halpin. Just couldn't quite hang on. High contact there in the tackle. Gary Moss. Moss to take it for the Hawks. Holding firm under a Carlton barrage in every way other than on the scoreboard in this quarter. Guerra returning to the team. Campbell giving it off. Dowler pumping long. Rioli with numbers against him here. His skills are wonderful though. And he cleverly helps it towards Franklin. Difficult bounce for him. He'll fight on. He did well. Dew always dangerous. Within half a kilometre of goal. Sitting it up. Williams might have been tugged. Advantage will be called. It's Roughhead's 5th goal. The Hawks have the biggest lead so far.
Gee, it was good work on the wing by Franklin, wasn't it? Outstanding stuff. He was outnumbered initially 2-1, but fought on and was able to knock it to his teammate. And Jared Roughhead, 5 goals.
Well, Roughhead kicks his 5th goal, but Buddy, clever play, keeps the ball alive to Dew. Now there's a free kick paid to the Hawks here. But advantage as soon as Roughhead's able to soccer it through.
One down by Renoff, taken though by Cruiser. Carlton need a goal. Favola Beautiful kick from Cruiser.
And what they've got to do is just open up that forward line so Fev can lead. That's the third time this quarter he's beaten Campbell on the lead. Well, he should, because Campbell's a ruckman. And Fev needs to kick accurately. Cruiser back in the ruck. Cameron Cloak needs to lift his output, whether playing up forward or in the ruck. Hasn't given enough.
There's a mismatch. Moss on Cruiser. But Brendan Favola focused on just one thing from just outside 50. Drop punt. Oh, what a superb kick. He's kicked 3. Carlton get a quick reply. Well, ever since you bagged his kicking style, Rob, he must have heard something, because I just noted just the hands have moved just a couple of millimetres, and he's converted the last couple.
You are spot on. You are spot on. I've got no doubt the runner's gone out and said, Wolsey reckons you've got to drop the left hand 2 centimetres and you're going to have it right, and he's done that.
No doubt. Absolutely no doubt that's happened.
Despite Carlton's lack of recent success against Hawthorn, Favola seems to have enjoyed them. He'd kicked 22 from his last 4 games against the Hawks coming into today, and he has 3 before half-time. Carlton stay in touch. Carlton free kick advantage called. Murphy has a look. It's touched off his boot. Scouting Armfield, lofting it. Not much there for either team. The bounce crucial. Betts hardly touched it today. He'll get a free kick, and he's got to kick a goal here. Betts looking for the kick in the goal square straight in front. The umpire judging the infringement, and quite rightly, occurred just outside the square. So Betts is on a slight angle, but it shouldn't be a bother. And this to reduce the margin to 2 points. He does just that. Blues right back in it.
Now it's strange, dominant in the early part of the quarter, not getting reward for effort. And the last couple of forays forward, they've been able to manufacture a couple of goals, one to Favola and one to Betts. Eddie Betts with his first of the afternoon. Eddie Betts, his first. Here's the free kick. Yep, fair enough against Dowler. Pushed him right in the middle of the back.
Carlton have won the clearances at the centre 5-1 in this second quarter.
Cruiser knocks it forward. Only as far as Moss. Can't escape the Judd tackle, and he's penalised.
That's another clearance. This will be 6-1 to the Blues at the centre bounces in this second term.
Wide to Stevens, who was able to find space. Little chip kick. Carlton. Oh, gee, had it all in front of him. Couldn't hold the mark. Well done, Simpson. Got in underneath Williams and has earned the free kick. Good work. The race to get there first, and Simpson made sure it was him. And he drew the free kick. 55 from goal. No one stands the mark, so he runs to 50. Kicks it to the top of the goal square. Renouf just drops back and takes a comfortable mark.
Jared Roughhead down there in the back pocket to help out, so they've got numbers down there.
Tuck. So all of a sudden Hawthorn, the team under the pump. Wasn't a great kick from Tuck to Mitchell, but Mitchell was able to get it back to him. Now off to Murphy, Franklin, Roughhead, the 2 key forwards combining at half back. Breaks one tackle, now Moss. And look at them run through the middle. Roughhead, he kept running. Oh, gee, Franklin too high on Simpson.
He gave him the don't argue.
They were away too.
But he was off. The Hawk fans hate it.
Scotland kicking to a contest. Not intending to, but the spoiler was arriving hard. Franklin has another go. Moss, and this is a good move by Hawthorn. Williams hasn't been terribly conspicuous, does well here. And Roughhead will line up for number 6 before half-time.
Tell you what was outstanding to see Roughhead and Franklin in the defensive 50. And there's the don't argue. And the umpire, he should have paid it, and he did.
Can't argue about it at all.
No, but the Hawks win it back, and Jared Roughhead, you'd back him, Chris O, with the way he's been today.
The inside 50s at 29 to 19.
That was a deliberate moz. Deliberate. So 5 goals, 1 now to Jared Roughhead. Dangerous kick coming into Thorn, and it's 3-on-1. He'll kick his 6 here. He does! Oh, what a mistake. In such a tight game, to make an error like that. Jared Roughhead, 6 goals, 1 with 1:40 left in the half.
Well, Jared Roughhead's 6th goal. It's the Jared Waite kick-in is a shocker. And Roughhead says we'll cop that. Nobody has kicked more than 6 goals in a game this year.
He's down there picking up the ball. Let him up now.
Minute and a half left.
Another centre break to the Blues. They're winning the clearances, and the Hawks are taking advantage when they get it in their 50.
They are remarkable at absorbing pressure. By gee, Carlton a bit lucky there. Gibbs kick though, didn't have any penetration. Campbell, for a big man, did very well. And Whitecross holds it in his hands for Hawthorn. And he sees Moss loose and delivers to him well. Moss, very good game last week. Oh, Juve, bad choice there. Cruiser, isn't he skilled for a big man? Gibbs giving it off. Carrazzo now to Simpson. Strong tackle, Moss. Stevens, nowhere to go. Great pressure from Hawthorn. Terrific passage of football here. Carlton pressing for a late goal. Simpson giving it. Just missed Gibbs. Carlton still with it alive, but Gibbs under pressure there and gone.
He didn't need to go to ground there, Gibbs.
No, a lot of Carlton players have gone to ground in this first half. The pressure's got to them a bit. The Simpson handball was terrible.
So the short kick comes to Tuck. And as we wind down to half-time, it's been a pulsating opening half here at the MCG. Hawthorn with the upper hand at the moment. And as Guerra kicks and finds Osborne. Now Campbell put the job on Fev. But that's it. Half-time. Hawthorn by 9 points. And they dominated the early part of the quarter. Absolutely dominated. And couldn't quite get reward for their effort. But a couple of late goals to Favola and Betts got them to within a couple of points. And then that man, Jared Roughhead, was able to step up to the plate. He's kicked 6 goals in the wonderful half of football. How many will he kick? Hawthorn by 9 points at the long break. Stay tuned. Second half coming up.
Hawthorn leading Carlton by 9 points. Can the Blues find more to actually eclipse Hawthorn on the scoreboard? Because you couldn't imagine that in general play it could have gone that much better for them than it did in the first half.
Well, they've won the clearances, the Blues, and they've had the ball in their forward 50 more than the Hawks. 4 goals each in that second quarter. And whilst the Hawks got the 4 goals, they only took it into their forward 50 6 times. Carlton took it in 19 times for their 4 goals. But as Andy said, the Hawks are getting the numbers back and making it very hard for this man in particular to find space.
So the second half is underway. A big game. Saturday afternoon at the G. And the Hawks lead the Blues by 9 points.
Tackle straight away. Leave it there now. That's it.
And umpire Armstrong. Only doing about his 13th or 14th game, I think. And it's a big one to have in his hands. Cruiser and Wiggins helping it to Simpson, who just went forward in hope. Murphy been good. Franklin down the back, been subdued so far. Puts his imprint on it here. Here's a contest. Whitecross getting under. under the Stevens tackle. Did it beautifully. Bateman running forward for him, waiting for the hand pass. Brown. It doesn't come. Bateman goes inside to Morton. Holds it up. White cross again. Hawthorn patient. Rioli steering it beautifully, and it's a free kick if not a mark.
Back to him there. Stay there, Simon.
Jordan Lewis.
Centre half forward, chips it short, it's okay.
Just watch that. I just watched this fella with the footy. He is a freak. He has run from the wing into the forward 50 to the far forward pocket, and then he cut back. His opponent is Nick Stevens. There's Bateman. And Nick Stevens, to be honest, he just couldn't or wouldn't go with him.
So Chance Bateman from directly in front. What a start this would be. The second half for the Hawks, and it's across the face. So disappointing effort there, just made the distance. Margin out to 10 points in favour of the Hawks. So Carlton now into the back pocket. Mark taken by Jamison, came from Thornton. Jamison, across the ground, it's okay. Russell chips to the loose player at half-back, Armfield. Great story, Dennis Armfield. Didn't play Aussie rules until he was 15 or 16. Probably showed there in his kick as he tried to find Scotland. And well done by Dowler, who was outstanding in the opening half, Bo Dowler.
Well, that's what you call a hospital pass.
So Taylor and Cruiser. No, Ruckman, it's a decisive tap. Cruiser follows up his work. That's one thing that's really impressive about Matthew Cruiser-Robb. He follows up his ruck work, and there he is again at the base of the pack.
He does. He does. He's just a terrific young footballer. Just wants to give his best every time, and he just pursues the footy.
There he wins that decisively. Straight to Sewell, though. Try to slip it to Mitchell.
There he is again, Cruiser.
Chance for Taylor. Tackle from Stevens. Bateman brilliantly tackled by Wiggins. And again, it's tied up. And
Cruiser's on the ground. That's the third effort by Cruiser in this stanza of play.
So you'll go at it again with Simon Taylor. 3 #1 picks playing this afternoon for the Blues. Cruiser wins it down. And there's another one, Murphy. Got the handball out to Bauer, to Judd, back to Bauer. Forced to kick quickly, but got it to Simpson. Now wide, chance for Wiggins. Handball back to Judd. Oh, was behind him. That's poor play. They were away too because Simpson was running forward to the play. Now a chance for Hodge. Off to Lewis. Back to Hodge. Something building here for the Hawks. Good chase as he kicks towards full forward at the back. Brown. Jamison decides to fist it through.
You did say good chase there, Chris, and it was a good chase by Mark Murphy on Lewis.
So the margin now 11 points in favour of Hawthorn.
Promising start by the Hawks, doing all the attacking here after doing most of the defending through the second quarter. Carlton's turn to have to hold firm. Thornton goes for territory. Hawks immediately gain some back. Lewis and Murphy ahead on. Murphy did pretty well. Hawks want deliberate. Yeah. Umpire McLaren saying he had teammates there.
Ooh.
Willing contest. Taylor getting rid of Cruiser. Down to Sewell. Bateman starting the half well, delivering it beautifully. Moss. Man on the mark, 48 out. So it's a testing distance. Once no time, he's not covered on that left side, and he kicks the goal. And the Hawks stretch the lead to 17 points. Shades of Ricky Dyson in the last quarter against Collingwood last week. He was out on the boundary line, but he just very quickly went on that arc, cut the distance a bit.
Well, he cut it by a good 6 or 7 metres, which was all he needed.
Well, young Moss kicked the goal, but Armfield, look at the man on the mark. Look at the man on the mark. He's going to mark the mark. So whilst he's marking the mark, his opponent says, thanks very much, I'll gain 10 metres and kick a goal.
He marked the mark 4 metres behind where he marked it as well. So chance for Lewis here. Saul. Carlton need to dig in as he kicks towards half forward. Thornton gets a bad bounce at the back. Joseph fell over. Chance for Jamison. Oh, that's throwing the ball. Free kick, Rioli. Cyril Rioli will kick. Now, thought about playing on.
Is it a wing tackle? Let's have a look at the tackle.
Joseph down, but Rioli with an opportunity to extend the lead. Now to 23 points, the biggest of the match. What a body blow this would be for the Blues. What a star he is in the making, Cyril Rioli. From 25 metres across the face. So a little fair for Carlton. Margin an even 3 goals.
Let's have a look at the tackle. And he's grabbed his arm. He's grabbed his arm, Cyril Rioli. What a wonderful tackle. A wing tackle, Chriso. A chicken wing tackle.
A fair chicken wing tackle.
It's effective, isn't it? Because the player just can't get rid of the ball.
Margin 18 points. It is all Hawthorn at the moment, pressing and pressing. And Carlton's defence about to be tested. Thornton's having a horror. He just let go of the ball there. Had to be penalised for holding it.
They are a bit of a rabble at the moment, the Blues.
Campbell Brown, now that is a very difficult spot. But you just never know what he might do. Not a bad kick, not enough carry.
Ooh.
So it's Hawthorn by 19. All grim defence for the Blues.
And Carlton having real trouble clearing the zone here. Jared Waite kick puts Thornton under pressure because it doesn't carry. And then Thornton eventually wrapped up in a tackle, dispossessed by Campbell Brown. Free kick.
Oh, no. There's another mistake as Russell kicks into Williams. He ducked his head. Play on. Good umpiring. And well done there by Russell. Made up for his mistake. Got it to Bauer. Back to Russell. Now Murphy.
They just can't clear it.
They can't get it past the centre. Another. Oh, gee, that was a heavy hit. Osborne on Guerra. And they've turned it over. Blake the cloak handball to no one. Simpson now hard up against the line. Just could scramble it. Brilliant trap from Betts. Simpson kept going, but they're under pressure. Houlihan off to Scotland.
Oh.
Just bangs away in hope. Oh, Hodge tried to soccer it. Perhaps should have tried to gather. Favola from almost 50 metres. Oh, don't tell me. Oh, what a goal. He's kicked 4, and that against the flow of play. 2 Hawthorn players colliding at half-back, allowing Carlton to get it through the zone. And Brendan Favola, what a finish, and what a mistake as well, robbed by Luke Hodge.
Yes, and that's the second goal by Fev from out on that boundary line, out on that pocket. I think the harder it is, the more he likes it. Fev kicks his 4th goal, and it's just a wonderful kick. Heading towards the boundary line.
What about the hand positioning on that kick, Rob?
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
John Kennedy would have had some good advice for Favola. Don't think, do. Because when he doesn't have time to think, he's much more effective. Carlton free kick. And the Blues hit back. Carazzo cleverly to Betts. Dangerous from there. The goal unguarded. And the ball goes through. The Blues within 7 points. It's that sort of game. Just when you think it's swung one way, it comes back the other.
See.
And little Eddie Betts, he gets the snapshot. It's a Carlton centre break from Gibbs off the side of the boot. Ball kept alive. And Eddie's kicked 9 goals from snapshots this year, the most of anybody.
Okay, back in the centre. Carlton with the run. Oh, Sewell taken high there by O'Halpin. And they dominated the early part of the quarter, Hawthorn. But Carlton with 2 quick goals. Good kick. Dew had to stretch. Couldn't quite hold on, but gathers at ground level. Shakes the Simpson tackle. Awkward looking kick towards Roughhead. He's got it deep in the pocket. He's kicked 6. Pulls it back around his body. Is it home? No, it's across the face. In fact, stayed in play. No, the umpire said...
I reckon it hit the behind post, did it? No.
Through for a behind.
Got to be kicked in.
Here's the lead up to the Favola goal. Out on the wing, Brent Guerra copped it. Looked to be out for the count. He picked himself up, chased, and then he got flattened again.
So Wade at fullback. Hasn't had the best day kicking in, but finds the target this time to Russell. This is where Carlton have had a lot of difficulty, particularly in this quarter. Long towards half-back. Big leak from Renouf. Down towards Sewell. Hard up against the line. Mitchell had to sit and wait, but he gets the handball off to Guerra, who shakes the tackle of Wiggins, and Hawthorn move it forward as Guerra gets it back towards Osborne. Couldn't control the half volley, and the Blues have the numbers. Wait, Russell, and wide, and they can build here with Eddie Betts.
Nice collect, has a look, floats the pass to Carazzo. Beautifully done, Murphy. 2 sets of hands on it. The umpire calls play on. Scotland besieged. Ball up.
Let's get down to Andy Marr.
Yeah, Kate Simpson's been battling that right thigh all day. It was caught early, but now he's come off with the right shin, right low down in the right shin. So he's got a really bad bruise on it. You can almost pick it up there. He's in a fair bit of strife, Kate Simpson.
Gone for the day, you'd think, Andy.
Oh, he doesn't look good, Tim.
Sewell in the midst of it, as he so often is.
And Jordan Russell lifted for Carlton. He's had 6 disposals in this third quarter, playing mainly across the half-back line.
Thanks, mate.
Premiership quarter. Brad Sewell was a premiership winner in this quarter against Geelong last year. Here's Bentley, first game for Carlton. Adjudged to throw.
Sam Mitchell.
Hawthorn by 8 points. Terrific quarter of footy so far. Tuck beautifully weighted for Guerra and Dew. Favola chase hard. Dew a lovely kick. Rough head there. The hand's not sure that time. Bauer did the only thing he could really. Rough head ever dangerous. Osborne now curling it but not getting enough on it. Campbell Brown in front. Murphy the crumb. Brown tigerish. What a contest this is.
Campbell Brown, magnificent, Tim. Just threw himself on the footy, locked it in.
There it is, Rob.
Just
no fear there.
Desperate. Gee, it's a keenly contested game. This is a fantastic game of football.
O'Halpin wins it down towards Houlihan. Will Scotland taken high? He'll get the free kick.
Hey, Scotland, first one was high.
20 metres from his own defensive goal. Off to Murphy and now Judd. Jamison. And he delivers okay. Mark taken by Clark. Oh, gee, handballed straight into Hodge. Jamison now under the pump. Great tackle from Hodge. Play on, says the umpire. Hodge, a brilliant handball off to Renouf. And Hawthorn now an opportunity through Brown. He kicks to the goal square. At the back is Morton. Well done by the Carlton defence. Standing firm as Waite kicks it wide. Now here's an opportunity. Wiggins off to O'Halpin. Brings it back towards Bentley. Has to gather on the half volley. Little fumble allows Sewell in. Just wrenched the ball from him. Now Williams. Tuck. And the Hawks can build again.
Just no second chances out there. Greg Bentley fumbled and it cost him and his team. Dew just too far out even for him. Franklin scoreless so far, but within range here.
Cameron Cloak had his handball smothered by Luke Hodge. And I reckon what's showing up, win, lose or draw, Carlton, win, lose or draw, their bottom 6 players are a long, long way away from Geelong's bottom 6, Hawthorn's bottom 6.
Franklin, not a bad looking kick, just missing. From that pocket, the difficult pocket for him, he's 1-5 for the season. How are the umpires going this afternoon, do you think, Rob?
Well, I haven't heard Jeff Kennett complain, so they must be going along pretty well.
Stevens to Jamison.
Well, Jared Waite said the next Stevens, I'm sick of this kicking in. You come and have a crack at it.
Now Waite's got it in the right back pocket. Gee, it's tough work getting it out of there for the Blues. Now there's an opportunity as Gibbs takes the game on from half back. Kicks it very wide. Cloak will hit him on the scone. Now a chance for Dowler. Been very impressive, Dowler. Kicks it back inside the corridor to Saul. Oh, gee, that's another mistake from Bentley. Allowed him to play on. Gee, that's poor play. Mitchell, beautiful pass onto the chest of Williams. You've got to guard the mark a bit more aggressively than that, Rob, and push the player back, so at least he's got to go over you. And that didn't happen here as Bentley just allowed Saul to get through.
Yes, and again it highlights Carlton's bottom 6 players are really letting them down at the moment. Again, Cloak out on the wing, marking attempt, hit him on the back of the head.
So Mark Williams, who led the goal kicking in 2005 and 6 before the arrival of Franklin and Roughhead, kicks from just inside 50 and he squeezes it home. Goal to Hawthorn. So Mark Williams has his first of the afternoon and the margin's out to 15 points. And Carlton are hanging in there. Just get the sense of Hawthorn just starting to click into top gear.
And this was the contest down on the wing. Bo Dowler and Cameron Cloak hits him on the back of the scone, and Dowler, geez, impressed in this game. Had a heap of the ball in the first half, continues to do it.
It's 2-6 to 2 straight for the quarter. Not much in it on the board, but Hawthorn are winning the contest overall. Relentless pressure telling on the Blues. Carlton's turn though.
Gee, Cameron Clark's gone to the goal square and Guerra is his opponent. A big mismatch if they can get the ball in the air to those two, one out.
The great Judd goes for O'Halpin. Always a big ask for the Irishman. Gibbs tied up. Hawthorn keeping the pressure on Carlton. It's extricated by Stevens to Betts. He's got the class to find a bit of extra time and space. Stevens kick poor. Judd there though. Danger here for the Hawks. Mitchell pulls him off it. Cruiser from Betts. Now O'Halpin. Clean hands. Oh, terrific smother. Guerra it was. And the deflection goes Hawthorn's way. Dew and Franklin. Franklin a spectacular sight. Back to Dew, who somehow kept pace with him. But the kick didn't have the penetration it needed. Waite pulled off his kick. Houlihan with good skills.
What
but
was
a blind
that?
kick to absolutely nothing. Whitecross. Oh, Stevens met him hard. The heat is on at the G.
Certainly is. And Whitecross is down. Taken by Mitchell in amongst 5 Carlton players, and eventually he turns it over. Cruiser off to Murphy. This important for the Blues. Kick to Favola. He's got it 40 from goal.
Well, they know they've got to get Favola on the lead, but was this a free kick to the Hawks?
Was it high? Was it high?
Whitecross.
No.
Into the body.
Great bump from Stevens to put Whitecross out of the game, and Brendan Favola can narrow the margin back to 9 points.
It's a big win for Carlton if he kicks this goal, where they win a physical exchange and cap it off.
Oh, I think the hands are back to where they were, Rob. Brendan Favola has kicked 4 from just inside 50. Misses to the left. 4 goals, 3 this afternoon for Brendan Favola. Margin 14 points in favour of Hawthorn.
And even the jokester feeling the tension of this. It's a gut-churning game. The Hawks work it to Williams and he manages to hang on. Andy Marr, how's Brendan Whitecross?
Oh, he's a tough kid, Tim. He sucked in a couple of big, deep breaths. He looked like he was in real strife. It must have just been some winding. He looks like he's A-OK and right to come back on.
Robert Campbell playing back in this depleted Hawthorn defence. Had the job on Favola, who's kicked 4 goals, 3. The quality of Favola's kicking really determines which way the contest will be judged to have fallen. Guerra kicks well. Rare miss by Lewis out there. Betts has got him. Lewis having to do something with it. Betts couldn't do anything. The umpire continues to let it go. And fair enough too. Dowler shoveling it. Lewis another go. And finally the Hawks prevail. Hodge hoping for Dew, but Murphy circumvents. And Carlton are a chance. Cruiser, great skills for a big man. O'Halpin to Arnfield, to Scotland, whose skills are normally pretty good. Carlton player down behind play, looks like Cruiser. Scotland goes forward. Favola waits. Wiggins gives, misses. And Murphy did it beautifully. Deftly edging out Favola. The Hawks hold up.
Saul off to Taylor. Oh, lumbering away. Cruiser missed the tackle. And Taylor kicks it back to Dowler.
Carlton player down was O'Halpin, but he's up.
Kick to the wing. Lewis didn't move from the last contest out there. Kicked low and effective to Franklin, who's marked 55 from goal. Oh, poor marking from Bow this time from 50. He kicks across the face. Rough head. He's marked in the pocket. And as you can see, on a very acute angle.
Yes, he knows what he's doing.
Around. Oh, dear. Missing to the near side.
Chris Whitecross back on, and remarkably Cade Simpson's back on. He looked shot to pieces earlier.
Second example this quarter of a Carlton player asleep when manning the mark. Should know that Buddy will play on if he possibly can. Doesn't like having to set shots for goal.
Simple things that you can control, Rob. There's lots of things in this game you can't control.
Jared Waite has got the jitters kicking in.
Hawthorn 2 goals, 7 for the quarter. They've looked ready to blow Carlton out of the water, but haven't quite been able to finish it. Judd to Scotland. The next goal in the last 4.5 minutes of this third term is of inestimable value. Jamison, a former rookie from Ballarat. And again, Hawthorn's zone really forcing Carlton to be very careful. Bauer opts for safety. Brett Thornton almost became a Hawk a couple of years ago. Been minutes today when Carlton fans might have wished that he had have done. But he is a very accomplished player. All the numbers with Hawthorn here. That was dangerous. Renoff giving it off to Sewell. Sitting it. Brave attempt, Moss. Stevens. Waite. Bauer. Cruiser. Bauer. Little deflection, but Murphy receives. Bauer again. Judd. This is a good effort by Carlton. And a good kick to Betts. Oh, bad miss. Still a chance. Judd over the top. Now, can O'Halpin do something with it? He's got to collect his mess first. Scotland, well tackled. Couldn't get it to Betts. Betts gets it back and misses.
What a great contest. The crowd's just loving it. Carlton ran it from one end of the ground to the other with handball. Well, I think poor old Satan, he didn't know what he was going to do.
So Hawthorn bring it out, and it's going to be a boundary throw in. Just touched inside, and Chance Bateman taking a long time to get up. Carlton need the next goal. 3 minutes until three-quarter time. Cruiser in front. Scotland. Now Lewis. Good pressure though from the Carlton forwards. Chance for Murphy. Tackled by Saul. Boundary line is close, and we'll get a boundary throw.
It's a Murphy free kick.
Okay, thanks, Rob.
And Guerra just continued on with the tackle into Murphy's back. Couple of Hawkers not happy. Let's have a look at it.
Yep, fair enough. So Mark Murphy opens up the angle, pulls it back across his body, but just offline. So the margin now is back to 13 points. Let's get down to Andy Marr.
Yeah, the doctor's out to Chance Bateman. He pulled up really sore in the lower back after that incident we just saw over the boundary line. He looks like he's okay, but he'll definitely get treatment at three-quarter time.
Free kick 17-11 Carlton's way, but the umpire's no bigger than the game. So Hawthorn defending here, leading by 13 points. And it's their turn to be patient and careful as they come out of defence. Mitchell, good on both sides of the body, went for Renoff, and Cruiser spoiled, didn't get it clear. His tackle was good, and Renoff took too long.
He persisted with the tackle, the big fella in the ruck. Well done.
Not always easy to handle. You've just got a handful of jumper, Rob, but he just hung on for grim death. Great stuff from the youngster.
No one standing the mark. Cruiser to Stevens, to Armfield. Waits for the right option and finds it in Simpson. Back from the grave. Long to Waite up there, is it? Well subdued. There'll be a throw-in. Not a bad result for the Blues.
Carlton have not been outscored in a final quarter this year.
Here's the tackle. Just handful of jumper with the right hand and would not and refused to let go. From the boundary throw-in. Chance for O'Halpin. Oh, he's kicked an amazing goal! The big Irishman, Satana!
And he says, I'm off. And they say, stay out there, you're running hot.
He sprinted off about 20 metres and they said, no, go back, son. Minute 30 left in the quarter. And he pulls the margin back to 7 points. They needed that goal, Carlton. I'll tell you what, we are in for one hell of a final quarter here at the MCG.
Ooh. And we'll have a look at this boundary throw-in. Satanta O'Halpin. He follows up and slams it on the boot. Carlton have kicked 8 goals from stoppages in this game. The Hawks have kicked 3.
Chris Judd must have known he had a goal in him. He tried to give him one a while ago.
Line held to him.
It came unstuck so badly you had to ask why he did it. There's Chance Bateman, who, as Andy Marr told us, has gone off and having the back worked on. Under a minute and a half to go in the quarter. The Hawks led by 9 points at half-time. The Blues have actually eaten into it now with straighter kicking in this third term, but it still stands at 7.
Cruiser having a spell, Cloak doing the ruck work, and O'Halpin down in the goal square.
Taylor and Cloak shunting at each other. Simon Wiggins, there's a little Houlihan under it all. There'll be another ball up.
And you can see there Murphy and Stevens, midfielders, getting an important rest just before this three-quarter time break.
Lewis climbing in. Scotland swatting at Carlton's way. Williams tied up. No easy kicks out there. A minute to go in the third quarter. The Hawks are 7 points up.
Jared Waite has been moved to centre half forward.
Taylor wins it down. Chance for Mitchell, wrapped up by Wiggins, going nowhere. Umpire McLaren, no option but to bounce. What a beautiful afternoon here in Melbourne, the MCG. Taylor gets rid of Cloak. Couldn't get a handball away though. Chance for Gibbs. Little Gibb is okay. To Judd. Wide to Armfield. Needs to commit here. Well, Lewis certainly did. Got it to Moss. Under pressure. Carlton really applying the clamps here. Carazzo. Houlihan. Rioli was in his path, but numbers with the Blues. Houlihan shares it with Joseph. Now Gibbs back into the corridor. 25 seconds to make something happen. Simpson over to Judd. Something normally does happen. Beautiful kick for Vola. If you don't mind, Rob.
What about Judd's composure when he got that football? He was ready to bomb it. He lifted the eyes, space in front of Fev, pulled the kick and said, Fev, you run onto it. And he did. And we've seen Favola at his best when he's been able to lead into the ball on Robbie Campbell.
Well, he's had an interesting day, Brendan. He has kicked 4 goals, 3 goals, 2 from set shots. This to bring the Blues back to within a point at the final change. And as you said, Rob, they have not lost a final quarter this season. Brendan Favola. He's kicked 4 from 45 metres. Drop punt is a beauty. The Blues back to within a point. And they go to Brendan Favola. Look at that. They go into the final break full of optimism. Don't miss this final quarter. Hawthorn lead by G. Hawthorn leaded by a point. Cruiser beaten to it by Lewis. Handball intercepted by Cruiser. Smothered coming from Mitchell. He's wrapped up. And we get a bounce.
Cruiser's second and third efforts again coming to the fore.
Thanks, Sam. Straight down.
Played a fantastic game, Cruiser. Reaches over the top. Beautiful tap to Stevens. Errant handball taken by Brown, who just tries to get it forward. Gains 25 metres, eludes Joseph. Pressure from Rioli, who found the football. Off to Jew. Here's an early opportunity for the Hawks. Roughhead in a great spot here. Got in behind Thornton. The kick was a beauty. And Jared Roughhead will come in and look to kick goal number 7.
Stuart Jew just magnificent off the boot. And Thornton playing too far in front.
He kicks and pops it through. Hawthorn by 7. What a game. Roughhead kicked 4 in the opening quarter. 2 in the second quarter. Didn't register a goal in the third quarter, but begins the fourth quarter in impressive fashion. 7 goals to this afternoon.
And that's the biggest bag of goals kicked by anyone this year.
There stands the difference between the teams. 7 goals to Jared Roughhead. His career high. And as Robert Walls said, the highest anyone's kicked this season so far. They've been hard to get. Blues first bite at it here. Judge being pinned for
That is a shocking decision, umpire.
I think he stopped waiting for the whistle. Now, Dew drives Hawthorn forward. Roughhead, very nearly another mark. And straight forward shot. Armfield out near the boundary. Franklin.
I reckon the field umpire was blinded. The field umpire is behind there. Yeah. He's wrapped up by 3. How can he get a handball out? And the umpire guessed, and he guessed wrong. Don't guess.
So boundary throw in. Hawthorn deep into attack. Cruiser, Bauer, little sidestep. Got boot to ball, just overrun by Cruiser. Chance for Franklin. Bauer's been his master this afternoon, and Carlton fans noticeably upset about it.
The Carlton supporters are screaming, saying, what's the difference between Judd and Franklin?
Bounce 30 metres from Hawthorn's goal. Cruiser directs it down, stolen though by Rioli, and he's held a long time in the tackle. And again, the murmurings of the Carlton fans. Umpire Margetts puts it down. Cruiser beaten by Roughhead this time. Bauer almost threw it to Cruiser. Carlton need to clear it from here. Chance again. Cruiser diving in on top of it. Moss has got it though. And another bounce.
It's desperate football.
Isn't it? Right.
Players from both teams just magnificent.
So Cruiser to do battle with Roughhead, who's kicked 7. They both get it down. Bauer. Roughhead went down. Where's the ball?
On again.
So trying to clear this congestion
in this phase.
This is number 4 in exactly the same spot. Osborne goes up. Gowd comes to Judd. Now we're away as Judd from half back kicks dangerously to Carrazzo. Hodge first to recover. He's got support by Whitecross. Now Murphy. He chips it wide, and the mark's taken by Dowler.
So Hawthorn with the first goal of the term and looking to turn the screw. Bauer did well against Franklin, just got enough of it. Another ball up.
I reckon he was very lucky there, Bateman.
Yeah, Buddy is just not plucking the football, getting his hands to it. We've seen this happen half a dozen times today. He's got his hands on it first and just hasn't clasped it.
Surprising it out, but Stevens stealing and then too slow, and that's holding the ball. No, it's not. Play goes on. Well, how do you penalise Judd in the middle and let that go? It is impossible to reconcile. Hawthorn working. Moss giving to the dangerous Dew, but that scything left boot. He has to wait here. And then he goes. It's low and flat. Not quite as long as he would have liked. Williams can only follow it over.
Good result for Hawthorn. He didn't have a lot to go to. There was the tackle. That is just gone. No discussion about it. So a little confusing, but boundary thrown at half forward for the Hawks. Taylor props in front into the path of Sewell. Handball to Mitchell. Tuck. Now White cross. Dangerous one to Brown. Oh, he put it down. He should have been penalised as well. He put it down in the tackle. Umpire didn't see it, and we'll get a bounce to the attacking side of the wing for Hawthorn.
Well, everyone's frustrated. And
yeah, what's this? Tackle?
Yeah,
down.
Look, it's a free kick to Carlton, but the players are magnificent. The umpiring in this quarter hasn't matched that standard.
Cruiser to Judd. Cruiser again, this time to Stevens. Oh, another dubious disposal. Mitchell slips it to Bateman. Out wide now to Lewis. Kick towards Franklin. And good hands in front of his face by Franklin on that occasion.
Great kick by Lewis. Great kick by Lewis. Saw Buddy out in front and just caressed the football to him.
What can he manufacture here?
Well, he'd
Lance
normally
Franklin.
run out to the left, wouldn't he? He can't really do it. He hasn't been goalless in 58 games of league football.
Okay, but he can bring it back from this pocket from right to left. Here he comes from outside 50. Kicks a superb goal. Take a bow, Buddy Franklin. Well, Bauer's done an amazing job on the champ all day. But he bobs up and kicks an amazing goal from outside 50. And the margin now out to 13 points. Hawthorn with the only 2 goals of this final quarter. You can't keep him down all day, Rob.
No, he's a champion, no doubt about that. We saw that last year, and what a wonderful kick.
Well, he hadn't gone a game without kicking one for 58, so the odds were that he was going to land one at some stage. And the harder they are, the better he seems to kick. That was a magnificent goal. And Hawthorn again lead by 2 and a bit kicks. It's out to 13 points. And the Blues haven't advanced beyond the centre in this quarter. Judd needing to be worked on at the moment, and they need him out there. Grunt from Scott McLaren. He's feeling the strain too. Sewell stripped of it by Houlihan, but he can't escape.
How big's Brad Sewell's second half been, Wolsey?
Yeah, been magnificent. His work rate, his tackling, his efforts, repeat efforts. He and Judd have had a great contest. At the moment, Houlihan running with Sewell while Judd is off.
He's a Hercules. Murphy for Carlton. Stevens just poking it forward. Hodge in good position. Favola there to try and crumb one. Has to fight on. Can only see it over. Carlton's turn to try and press and pull back a goal. Hawthorn got out to 19 points in the third term, and Carlton carved into it as the quarter wore on. Mitchell collected that beautifully. The hand pass was nifty too. Tuck. And they hold firm as Morton gives to Sewell.
Sewell at half-back coming in for disposal, number 23. Kicks towards Lewis on the wing. Houlihan got rid of him, finds the football. 2-on-2 contest. Hawthorn went out. Morton kick towards half-forward. Franklin, here he comes again. Bauer got a hand in there. Franklin first to recover. Jamison lends a hand. Ball still in. Can Bauer get it to Jamison? He can, and support provided by Russell, and the Blues out of trouble. Murphy back to Russell. Must find a target here, and he does. Weight marks low down, and that's got to be 50. Well, that's okay, says umpire Margetts. Kick out wide. Carazzo had the job all day on Luke Hodge, playing as a defensive forward. The left, not a great kick, and didn't give Brendan Favola any chance whatsoever. We'll get a boundary throw in at half forward for the Blues.
What was Robert Campbell's intention there?
To knock it out of bounds.
There's a push, and there's a Carlton free kick to O'Halpin.
Well, this could go anywhere. I tell you what, this is like September. The pressure, the crowd involvement. Hawthorn are in a situation where they just can't afford to drop this game. They can't afford to be 2 wins, 4 losses, 6 rounds in, and they're playing like that.
Satanda's having a shot from 65. He hoists it. It is not a bad effort. The margin is 12 points. 2 straight kicks. 13.5 minutes left in a classic at the MCG.
Guerra at fullback. Mitchell.
Oh, right there, Jared.
Carlton, can they hold this ball in? Mitchell short. Murphy.
Yours out wide.
And they methodically work it to half-back to Brown. And now to Roughhead. So
good kicking skills. The efficiency by foot has been so good.
oh, back inside the centre half-back. That's okay, Lewis. Too easy at the moment for Hawthorn. Little chip okay to Mitchell. So they're away now. They're over the centre. Kick wide. Rioli's got it. Off to Bateman. Kick it a half from goal at half forward. Kick towards Franklin. Well done, Bauer. Brilliant roving from Rioli from 25. He kicks her behind.
Well, that's the only kick of about the last 10 that Hawthorn's had in that build-up. Every kick hit the target. #1 kicking team last year. Carlton's kicking has improved out of sight this year.
But if back Cyril Rioli to kick that, he is a wonderfully skilled young player. Hasn't been dropped since making his debut at the start of last year. Even Bradman was dropped. Stevens for weight coming third in line. Nothing though there to crumb it for the Blues. Campbell Brown with plenty of support.
Bradman was dropped in second slip too.
Pressure coming from the Blues, but Murphy good enough. Carazzo steals. Betts. Oh, he's got a man loose, and the Fev can run in and nail it and cut the margin to 7 points with his 6th goal.
And the pressure here, Rob, immense. And turned over. Carazzo got it from Murphy, and then Brendan Favola hanging back to kick goal #6.
Yes, and Andy Mars down there near the interchange bench, and a lot of interchange by Carlton midfielders.
Oh, they are, Wolsey. They're rolling them through. It doesn't matter what their surname is. They're all taking their time on the pine. I think that's probably where they're going to get Hawthorn, I think.
Saul kicks to half forward. Loose ball, bobbling away inside, attacking 50. Joseph got Rioli out of the way for the minute. Bauer, Rioli. Going nowhere.
Both players got the ball. There's no tackle.
Good umpiring by umpire McLaren. He'll get a bounce 35 metres from Hawthorn's goal. There is a picture of the Carlton bench. Matthew Cruiser there, Clayt to do the ruck work. Judd just lost his feet. Now a chance for Roughhead with time to steady, and he finds Sewell 52 metres from goal. Brad Sewell wants Franklin. Kicks it high, gives him a chance. He's up, got a hand to it at the back. Stuart Dew kicks a goal for Hawthorn. What a marble. Premiership signs for Port Adelaide and Hawthorn. And the margin back out to 13 points. Gee, that was a big pack, and no one down for the Blues.
It was a big pack, all right, Chris. 2 Hawks up, 2 Blues up. The 4 of them hit the deck. Took them about 10 seconds to get up. And Stewie Dew, very smart, read the situation, put himself in a position to receive. Have a look at this pack. Everyone hit the deck. It took them ages to get up. Stewie Dew took advantage of it.
And Dew's opponent there was Kane Simpson. Had to be goal side of him, and wasn't.
I hope there are no Geelong fans watching. It would be like a recurring nightmare. 2 goals to Dew at that end for the afternoon, and here go the Hawks again. They're standing up. Lewis kicks truly, and this man Sewell, heroic as ever. Just an old-fashioned blue-collar midfielder. Kicks long, cloaked up now. Carlton Carlton free kick for a hold at the back.
It'll go to Stevens. Stevens is down there because Bateman has been told to go and play virtually as a second full forward. And Stevens has followed Bateman all day.
Hawthorn doing most of the attacking. It thus far has been a replay of the second quarter. The third quarter, rather, when Hawthorn pressed early. Carlton hit back later.
Thank you.
Greg Bentley, emergency in Port Adelaide's grand final team a couple of years ago. In his first game with Carlton. Houlihan floating it for Murphy, but a bit too much hang on it. Judd, Gibbs, Scotland, good pressure though from Taylor, forcing the turnover. And Dew gives to Guerra. If it'll sit for him, he kicks the ball well. He sits it here. You need to be brave, Brett Thornton, and you're very brave.
Sensational effort by Thornton. Wasn't his opponent, but he threw himself. He was going to take whatever hit came his way. Best bit of play he's done all day.
He goes long to the one-on-one. Lewis and Cloak, and Lewis wins comprehensively.
Well, Cameron Cloak can't let that happen to him. He's bigger than Lewis.
Kick wasn't great from Lewis. Saul front and centre. Jams it on the boot towards Roughhead and Franklin again. Bauer stands up. Franklin fell over. Was pushed in the back. It was there. Just clumsy stuff. You can't afford to do that 20 metres from goal.
Move out, boys. Aaron, go out with your man, please.
Now watch it again.
No doubt.
You've got to roll. You've got to roll to the side. You can't just flop into the back of an opponent.
And Lance Franklin, who kicked his first goal of the match at the 7-minute mark of this quarter, can kick his second from just 25 metres. He pops it through. Lead out to 19 points. Hawthorn have kicked the last couple. And still time for the Blues. But I wonder whether they're playing well enough. And Brad Sewell has been outstanding in the second half, particularly in this final quarter. 8 disposals for Brad Sewell in this final term, and 16 since half-time.
Buddy kicks the goal, but it comes from this one-on-one contest, and Cameron Cloak. That is just not good enough. You just can't be beaten in a marking contest by a midfielder when you're a ruckman.
Hasn't had a good day, and leaves Carlton with some thinking to do. 4 goals to 1 in the last quarter the Hawks' way.
No one's really got it in there.
Margin 19 points, as it was 7.5 minutes into the third quarter. But it's hard to see Carlton getting back from here. Renouf and Cruiser. Murphy, stolen by Dowler. Tuck giving it off to Dew. The Hawks on the break. Osborne spearing it, and Roughhead can go back and line up for number 8.
Inside 50s in this fourth quarter, 11-3.
And this for the killer blow. Already he's kicked his best ever haul of goals in a match, and he's just stretched it to 8 for the day, and the Hawks lead by 25 points.
And the great skill of Osborne on this occasion, but a bunch of Hawthorn midfielders that are able to deliver the ball so effectively to. Today it's been Jared Roughhead, and what an amazing day. 8 goals 2.
Stuart Dew in picture. 6 disposals in this fourth quarter, and has set up 4 of their goals in this quarter.
Back in the centre, Renouf gets it down to Mitchell. He's immediately tackled by Gibbs and Judd, so another bounce. 25 points the margin. Quick clearance here for the Blues. It's not done with yet. Cruiser wins it down. Judd. Gibbs hacks it forward to half forward. Dowler read it best, though a little fumble. Allows Carrazzo in. Good little give to Betts. Here's an opportunity. Simpson will want his left side. No, he kicks on his right and kicks a goal for Carlton. So the margin back to 19.
Well, twice this quarter, fast Eddie Betts has been unselfish to set up one Favola and two Simpson.
And a good finish on his non-dominant side from Kane Simpson and gives the Blues some hope. Margin back to 19.
At this centre bounce at ground level, Carlton has got Murphy, Gibbs and Judd. They've just got to keep them there for the remainder of the game. They're their best. They've won the clearances. Forget about the B-grade team. Keep the A-graders in there.
And after what happened on Anzac Day, I don't know whether anybody will be leaving just yet. The margin 19 points. Renouf getting the better of it there, but Mitchell couldn't dispose effectively. Dew playing a fantastic last quarter. Waite prizing it out for the Blues, giving Murphy the break, but he just can't see a target. Semi-smother on the kick. Carrazzo, Brown, a fearsome sight. Murphy. So a throw in. Time enough for Carlton to get back into it. In front of just over 69,000.
Gee, that's a good crowd.
And well, they might have come here on a beautiful day. The reigning premiers against a rising young team. Hawthorn free kick, another untidy tackle, and the man over the ball, as he has been so often, is Bradley Sewell.
I think Carlton have given away 4 free kicks like that today, Rob, where they've just fallen into the back of their opponent. Just clumsy. There's Tuck kicks across to Campbell. Kick towards the wing. Favola couldn't take it. Dowler slaps it back to White. Cross took a long time to dispose of it, but eventually got it to Rioli, who coolly kicks inside the corridor. Mark taken by Tuck.
Moving on.
Tuck. Back and across to Murphy.
Right there.
So the ground clock showing 22.5 minutes, but still
50, thanks, Bryce. Right there. Right.
just under 7 minutes. I thought Gibbs had given away a 50-metre penalty there, but the umpire was just pulling him back to the paint at the 50-metre mark. So Campbell now off to Guerra. Wheels onto the left boot. Gee, that's a good smother from the big man Cruiser. Follows up and tries to tackle down. There's a good tackle, and he'll get the free kick this time, Murphy.
Well done, Cruiser.
Now advantage to Favola. Kick is a beauty to Betts, who's marked 45 from goal. On a slight angle, back to Favola from outside 50. He loads up. Goal umpire doesn't move. Goal to Favola. He's kicked 7. So just when we thought it was all over, Carlton have kicked the last 2. Brendan Favola has kicked 7, and the margin is back to 13 points, and still plenty of time left for the Blues.
And again, fast Eddie set up the goal. That's 3 assists from Eddie Betts in this 4th quarter. Well, Eddie Betts set Favola up. Favola goes for a ball wide on the wing. I don't think he'd be all that happy with that effort. He'd be happy with that one, the short pass. He'd be happy that Eddie said, here, you finish it off for me, which he's so good at doing.
And again, no time to think. He just had to steady and kick, and he kicked truly. He has 7 goals, 3. Roughhead has 8-2. Eddie Betts again making a solid contribution. Carlton still alive. The margin 13 points. Getting very crowded in the middle.
Okay, that's it. Dead ball, Sam.
You know, Tim, you and I picked this, that Fev and Roughhead would kick plenty of goals when we were down on the ground before the game.
Yes, I do recall that.
We like the look of their kicking technique, especially Fev's grip. Tuck. Campbell Brown now for the Hawks, and he did that beautifully. Controlling the kick to Bateman. Wide for Dew. So a throw in. Quite remarkable, Stuart Dew, to be running on so strongly in the last quarter. He doesn't look as athletic as he once did, it has to be said. Taylor winning the test of strength in the ruck. Gibbs, hand pass stolen by Lewis. Terrific smother Armfield. Lewis was on his natural side. It was important to stop the kick. Dennis Armfield did.
And Stewie Dew drops back, a kick behind the play.
Margin 13 points. Cruiser, brilliant tap to Stevens, though he ran straight into trouble. Franklin's got it, dishes off to Tark. Cruiser did brilliantly to hold on to him just long enough to affect the handball, and the Blues can sweep it away. Bowers handball to O'Halpin, put him under the pump. Scotland, Bauer, O'Halpin, and now they combine. Chance now for Russell. He's got Stevens streaming through the middle. Favola goes and he hits him. Brilliant stuff from the Blues. Quick hands. And the run and the skill of Nick Stevens on display there. What a beautiful kick to Favola. As we get the 5-minute warning. And Brenner Favola can match the effort of Jared Roughhead here. And there's a great look at the lead. He's kicked 7. This to bring the margin back to 7 points. Drop punt. Is there. Favola has 8. Margin 7 points. What a game of footy this is. We saw it last Saturday on Anzac Day. Can Carlton produce a comeback? They were down by 25 points at the 18-minute mark. They've kicked the last 3 goals and trail now by just 7.
Well, the big Fav, he is an amazing player. This is the 3/4 time break. Craig Bradley, former Carlton captain, he's just at him and at him and at him, and I reckon he's saying, big stage, Fev, this is made for you. Show everybody just how good you are. Build him up for the moment, build him up for this final quarter. He hasn't let them down.
It's a great atmosphere down here, Wolsey. It is a great buzz around this MCG.
Well, Andy, you called it. You said Carlton were going to try and win this with their rotations. Wear Hawthorn down. But the Hawks advance out of the middle through Sewell. Bauer the spoil. Scotland. Armfield puts Russell under the pump. Floats it for Waite, who finds a little bit of breathing space and delivers to Cruiser. The Blues on the build now. Armfield, Scotland, who goes once again to the Fev. All roads lead towards him. Kept alive for the moment by Judd, who will fight on, but in the end it's taken over by Murphy.
Luke Hodge, magnificent, getting back there to help out, get the chop out on Fev. Put the body at risk.
Carlton deep into attack, margin 7 points. What a game of footy this has been. Cruiser down to Judd. Spills back towards Murphy. Snap it, goal. Oh, he's kicked across the face. Through for a behind.
Very handy point that, Chris O.
6-point ball game, Rob. 28 minutes in final term.
How good are Carlton at the stoppages at scoring?
And the pressure onto Stuart Dew here. Still plenty of time. We clicked into the final 5 minutes at around the 26-minute mark, so still plenty of time for Carlton. Chips into the pocket. Now taken by Whitecross. Not much to go to here. So he decides to kick along the line. One-on-one contest. Hodge couldn't take the mark. Stevens paddles to his own advantage. Nick Stevens kicks in towards Favola. He's got the set. Campbell couldn't hold it. Chance for Judd. He's got it 30 from goal. Carazzo feeds it back to Scotland. Off a step from 45. Kicks towards the pocket. Well done by Dowler. Forces it through.
Another handy point.
Another handy point if you're a Blues fan, Rob. 5 points the margin.
Even Chris Judd couldn't quite execute the clean hand pass there. The fatigue of the battle perhaps getting to him and preventing him from setting up the goal scoring play. The Hawks work it. There's still time for the Blues. 1 goal would put them in front. Campbell, unaccustomed as he is to playing down the back, he's under mental pressure. Was that 15 metres? Oh, gee. Mitchell, that is, and Osborne has it for the Hawks, who just try and ice it now. Osborne finds a bit of space, but he's got no one to kick to. Yes, he has. He goes back to Dowler.
They will just try to keep control with this short passing.
Wide to Osborne.
Can't afford to lose, Hawks. They'll be down 2-4.
Osborne for Murphy. Jamison sees him over, and that lets Carlton in. A clearance play now. Just Carlton's side of the southern wing. Possession of the ball here is crucial. Renouf and Cruiser. Cruiser to Judd. Can't break. They knew he was the object of the exercise. Ball up.
What a game of footy.
Yeah, Hawks have dropped Dew back. Getting him back in front of Fev.
Cruiser down. Mitchell's got it. Slick handball to Lewis. Wide cross pulled out. Now a chance for Carlton. Scotland. Oh, critical fumble. He's got it now. Finds Gibbs. Got numbers around the contest. Kick towards half forward. That's where Hawthorn have got the numbers, but they muddle it up. Chance here for the Blues. Chance for Carazzo. He's well tackled. Hands it up. Sewell off to Mitchell. Renouf, Dew, and now Osborne. Hawthorn with an opportunity. High and long towards half forward. Rioli wasn't watching the footy. Joseph was held. Should get a free kick and does at half back for Carlton.
It's got to be 50. It's got to be 50. That's got to be 50.
It has to be 50, Rob.
And that has to be 50 against Franklin. I don't think the umpire's going to have the courage to pay.
Well, he hasn't. How can that be?
Now, Chris, there's no doubt Buddy heard that call from the umpire.
Of course he did.
Of course he did, and the umpire wasn't strong enough to apply the rules as they should have been applied.
Chance for Simpson. He kicks into the corridor. Chance for Armfield. Oh, he played on, but he slipped the tackle. Armfield, last roll of the dice here for the Blues. Favola's run out. Favola. It's marked it. Unbelievable. He's never kicked 9 goals. Armfield slipped the tackle. What a mark, Rob.
Armfield was terrific. He took the hits. He just kept going.
Did he push off there, by the way? Let's not worry about that. Here he is to win the game for the Blues. He kicks a goal. No, he's missed it.
Hit the post. It hit the post, didn't it? He thought he got it. It hit the post. Just hit the inside of the post.
I don't think I've heard a bigger roar at the MCG than that. Hawthorn by 4 points. The moment has passed for the Blues. The Hawks should hang on now. Just seconds left, you would think. They'd need to make a calamitous error to let the Blues in. First season player, Brendan Whitecross. Play on call. Carlton have got to put him under pressure. Favola comes at him, but Whitecross gets out of it. Goes for distance. Franklin there. Bauer the spoil. Mitchell the crumb. Can Carlton make a steal? Buddy got it. Now Osborne backpedaling. Carlton pressing, but just cannot win the ball back. Franklin finessing. Worked around to Mitchell, who just kicks in hope. Rioli with brilliant skills. Brilliant Rioli. Hawthorn should hang on from here. It's a lovely kick, and Williams takes the mark.
Siren went.
It's all over. Brendan Favola can only ponder the one that got away. He had it in his hands. He had it on his boot. But he hit the post, and the Hawks have won. There won't be a shot at goal. The siren had gone before Williams took the mark. It's the Hawks by 4 points. A classic at the MCG. To 4 in the last quarter, Hawthorn's way. What a game. Hawthorn winning by 4 points. The president looks proud. Here was the moment. Brendan Favola had kicked 8. This for number 9. inside of the post. And on that 1 centimetre of timber hung the 4 points of the game. Crushing disappointment for Favola. The man who thrives on moments such as those, on that occasion, just was not quite able to finish it. It's Hawthorn by 4 points at the MCG. The Premier's 3rd win of the season.
On Fox Sports AFL Sunday, playing